we up? Audio looks good. Wi-Fi check. Yes, everything checks. We're up and running. Good morning, good morning. Saturday morning here, Saturday morning, which means for most of the people watching it's going to be Friday. No audio. Testing, testing. I'm seeing audio here. The green thing is running. My microphone has a red dot. Wash your ears, John. I love it when it's not my problem. There's enough times that it is my problem. And yes, paper is out. Audio is on, paper is out. Okay, what are we doing this morning? A few odd jobs here today. Again, odd jobs. One, I've got a block fix. These are the blocks, or these are two of the blocks for the first print in next year's series, which the girls were test printing upstairs. And as has been very, very common with these complex prints, the ones that have many, many, many overlays, we didn't get it right the first time. It's just that's the way it goes. We didn't get it right the first time. So I've got some fixing to do today. So what we're going to do is, I don't have a whole blow-by-blow description of what's happened, but basically what's happened is this. This block is part of the background tone underneath the darker areas of the print. And to make things like the dark sky and the dark building, we don't just print them as a single color, we print them as multiple layers. And sometimes any given block will underlay more than one. This block underlays the river at the bottom, the sky, the tree at the side. And we found that it's given the wrong color tint to the sky. So I have to remove part of this block after test printing. We were thinking about this. A number of these things come up. We think about them when we're doing the preparation, but you can't tell. So we will carve larger than we think we need, knowing that we can cut it back later. If the other way around, of course, it's much more difficult to add. And on a different one of the blocks, she thinks she needs more color in the doorway area. So we may have to add some area to another block. But anyway, so what I'm going to do today is this. I have two blocks. One of the blocks shows an area of trees that are in the background of this print. And it's the bottom line here that is going to be my cutoff line for this block. So in order to know how much to cut off here, I have to print this and transfer it to the top surface of this block. So I've got a little bit of pigment ready here. I'm going to make a quick transfer. Paper's out, yes, thank you, paper's out. 2 debts. It's for Sugusan Ishikawa-san. They are testing this print. So I have to get this finished this morning before they get here. The brush I grabbed from the party room actually was washed last night, so maybe there's no pigment in it. Just a second, we may have a problem. I may have to go grab some pigment. Well, this is one of the printouts now. This is the tree area. So we're cutting this background, so it just comes to this tree and not on the sky. Yeah, that'll show it. It's okay. We have a piece of our famous patented Gampi laminate paper, not patented. Hang on a sec. Before I do that, this is too large. Just a second here. So the weather outside, it's a nice clear day today. It's in fact, for me, it's a perfect weather today. Not so cold, not damp. We've had some really, really bad damp days. It's rained and rained and rained here. And we see the tourists every day coming through here. And we've really had disappointed people. They came to Japan, they were told, come in November and it'll be clear blue skies and you'll enjoy yourself and there'll be no rain and no typhoons and it won't be too cold. And it's been damp, and a bunch of disappointed people. Whatever, case by case, some people just ride with it. There's that expression, there's no bad weather, there's just bad clothing, something like that. And there's people that say that and just get on with it. A couple we had yesterday there in Japan, this was their 35th day, I think she said. They're ready to go home now. They spent 4 weeks or so over on Shikoku Island. They did the 88 temple pilgrimage. They did the whole thing. They came just after the big typhoon a while ago. So see what we've done. We've just transferred the information. This block here, this is going to be an undertone, yellow-orange tone under the buildings and something. It turned out we didn't want it under the sky. It was turning the sky the wrong color. So this top area here, underneath this part and underneath these trees, is going to come off. And I needed to know where this line is, because this is not one of those lines that's on the key block. When you're carving something like the building or whatever, you can see the lines in or out. But a line like this has nothing on the key, so we need to do this kind of a transfer. The image itself, I've got a copy of it somewhere around here. Don't Where is it? Pop it up for a second. I think it's on here. I'm in one moment, please. This is the first print in next year's series. Here we are. This is a Photoshop version, not the woodblock print version. You can see what we're doing. So if you can see over the left-hand side there, behind that tree, let me drag it up a bit. The block we're looking at is the block for, it'll be down at the river. You can see there's a bit of a warm tone down at the river. And then it comes up under this tree and then up into the sky. And I'm guessing that after today's testing, they're going to come back to me and say, cut some more off. Because I think this area here, which is behind that ghostly tree, I think we don't need this either. Because I think that ghostly tree should be a blue way down in there. And I think this zone here is also going to have to come off. But we're going to let them go ahead and test first today before we go ahead and do that step. Someone's asking about Gampi. The Gampi has arrived last week. In fact, this is some of it. The Gampi has arrived. I didn't want to talk too much about this because people are going to be asking, get it on the catalog and start selling and away you go. We just haven't had time for it. We are still completely, totally snowed under with work here right now. But I can just say that the next step has come. The Gampi sheet, the Gampi paper has arrived. We will be making some of it available in our catalog for people that want to try using it for their own printmaking. Microscope for this job. We don't need a microscope for this job. What we need is just a way to get the camera set here. Let's do this. I woke up this morning in my mailbox, and it was flooded. I guess everybody has exactly the same experience, My mail this morning, wow, lots of letters. Wow, what's going on? Looks cool. Lots of friends write to me, lots of orders. No, it was 99% Black Friday crap, You guys over there right now, it's Friday, I guess, for most of you where you are, and I suppose you're under that onslaught right now of People trying to sell you stuff, I guess. I don't know. I suppose I'm part of that. We have things for sale and we do that. But geez, I hate being part of this. And we've given our instructions here. None of the people here, but Cameron doing this MailChimp stuff. Please don't do anything anywhere near that Friday, because I just don't want to be part of that. Hypocritical, I suppose, because we sell stuff, yeah. But I just can't bear what that thing has become. So. Okay, now, mental problem here. That's dark and this is light. So all of our work is done. Usually we color in the areas to leave. So my brain is yelling at me, Dave, leave this area and carve this off. And this is backwards right now. This is backwards. We just printed that to show where those trees are. So this is the area that's staying. This is the area that's coming off. We don't need to do this exactly microscopically on this line. In fact, that's dangerous. Because if I cut this too far back this way, it will look strange with an empty space there. But I'm going to cut, because this area is going to be undertone and blue and then dark trees. This is going to be basically about as black and dark as you can get. So I'm going to cut this thing right now. I'm going to cut it a little bit into this area of trees. Because there's no way you're going to see anything in there. It's going to be so rich and so dark. On the other side, cutting too much into the light would be more dangerous. God, what an awful piece of wood this is. Sponge. Can you see it? You can see it. It sponges. It just sinks down under the knife. Yeah, the area on top of the tree should have come off. This is why we're doing this. The area right now here during the trees, that could probably go either way, because that's going to be so dark and dense, it doesn't matter if there's an undertone. It's this area up here that was causing problems. We wanted the sky to be rich blue, and with this undertone of orange and stuff, it came out too purpley. And we wanted this to be a blue, deeper blue. So we're getting rid of the red-orange under the main sky. This part doesn't matter, it's not going to be visible at all. And as I said a bit earlier, I suspect this area is going to have to come off too, because I want that to be cooler in the background. But the girls are arguing, no, that tree that's at the left, and pop it up again. The girls are arguing that that tree over at the left of the distance, they think that should pick up a bit of warmth because it's lit by the light from the building. So they think the building light, orange, yellow, whatever, should be reflected in the trunk of that tree. So I'm willing to let them test that. So we'll leave it here, but I'm thinking we may have to cut it off. When I say everything above the treetop, this is the top of one tree here, and this is the top of the background trees. So I'm going, as I said, I'm going to leave that, to take this off and just leave this thing here. Jed might be watching this morning. I think he was. He emailed me a few minutes before the stream started this morning, showing me a new picture. So he may be at his computer. He may be watching this morning, or he may have already said hello. I don't know. here, what's happening at the top here. Let's stay, these go, okay. Okay, it's been quite a while since we've seen this here. We usually try and avoid that kind of noise on the stream here, but there's going to be a bit of noise here. For those of you who are new here, the next step is going to involve a bit of noise. So move the mic. Let me move the microphone. Take it away from that. If I put it down on the chair there, I'll move the mic down on the camera's chair. Get away from the chisel. You can still hear me, I presume, Bishop. Can you hear me now? I can go that's it. Okay, going to get a bit noisy for a few minutes. Those of you with headphones on, please be careful. It's not going to be super noisy, but my brother and I, he Skypes from Germany sometimes, and I Skype from him. And he Skypes usually it's dark where he is, and he's in this dark living room. And we don't bother with the video so much. We know what each other looks like, so we just talk. And he's got a lower, deep voice. He's a bigger guy than me. I'm older, but he's a bigger guy than me. And it's just become a silly tagline, a custom. And we get the Skype going on, and it takes a minute for the video to get going. And one or the other of us will say, "Can you hear me now?" We know what it's a reference to, something we grew up with. But just curious, is there anybody else out there watching this who would understand what that's a reference to? A deep voice, muffled like this, saying, "Can you hear me now?" A chocolate egg for anybody who can get that one. Okay, here we go. Some light tapping here. Ready to go? On glasses. Glasses 1, glasses 2, glasses 3. Can you hear me now? He's dead. No, no. Carving sponge. No, not an old radio serial. No, it's old, yes, but nothing to do with a radio serial. And I don't even know if it will be online. I guess it must be. There's probably a video of it somewhere. That's funny to bring that up because I haven't seen or heard that thing in many, many decades. I should look it up after a stream and let you know what it is. Or you can. Concentrate. Don't pick off the wrong places. A little bit more noisy with this larger chisel on this side. Those lights outside, it's what you're seeing is sunlight, and then the sunlight reflections off the hotel across the street. The hotel is a glass-fronted hotel, lots of windows, and the sunshine reflects out of those windows. And sometimes it comes right into the shop here. I'm hitting that. Sorry about that. The outside picture is shaking. If that one's shaking, then we're in trouble. Okay, enough noise. Thank you. Back to quieter tools now. Can you hear me now? I know someone's got an answer to it here. I don't know about that usage. Perhaps that was there. Of course, who knows? It's a normal English phrase. Can you hear me now? The particular usage that I remember, my brother and I remember, there was back in the 1950s. This happened in the 1950s. There was a British comedian, is a musician, comedian, raconteur, concert promoter, cartoonist. The guy's name was Gerard Hoffnung, Hoffmung. It was Gerard, not Gerald, Gerard. And he sponsored at one point a concert that was held in the, I guess, the Queen's Hall. No, this was after the war, so it would have been in the Royal Festival Hall, whatever, one of the concert halls in London. He sponsored a concert, and it was one of the first examples of musical comedy stuff involved with classical music. There was that guy called Victor Borgo who was doing the same thing. He sat down at the piano, played classical music and told jokes and stuff. And over in America later on, there would be the guy that called himself PDQ Bach doing that sort of thing. But Hoffman was one of the early guys who did this. And they had something, I guess, in the concert in London, they called the Grand Festival or something like this. And he introduced it, and they did spoof classical music and twisted themes and mixed stuff together and told jokes and used a vacuum cleaner to make sound and all that kind of stuff. Just a silly classical music gag concert. But in the introduction to the thing, Hoffman himself was a tuba player. And he came out to do the introduction to this concert. And this is on a record. We had my brother and I grew up with the LP recording of this, which we played to death. He came out with his tuba, sat on a chair to do the introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, whatever. And he had a plant. There was a guy in the back of the hall that was his friend that said, "Speak up, I can't hear you," from the back of the hall. This was all prearranged. Hoffman listens to this and puts his mouth to his tuba, which is a giant, massive contrabass tuba, and says, "Can you hear me now?" And that's the end of the joke. It must be out there. It must be on YouTube. Gerard, yeah, somebody's got a link to it. Gerard Hoffman, and he's mostly famous for that single concert. He did cartoons, yeah, what do you call it? Like one cartoons of musicians and stuff, and they were probably published in London Punch or something back there in that era. And they were funny at the time. It was 1950s, different kind of thing. He's most famous, and I can't possibly do this for you, but I can't tell a story anywhere near as well as he told the story. He was very famous as a raconteur, telling stories. And unfortunately for him, he had an experience at one time. He told a story about some bricklayers who were carrying bricks up, or a bricklayer, who was trying to get some bricks from the street level up to the top of a construction site. And this is in the 1940s or 50s, whatever. And he told a story about a bricklayer who had a bit of trouble with his rope and stuff. And the story it was viral in its day. And it became a burden for him. Everywhere he went, he had to tell the story. And he was so good at it. This story goes on for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And if you're in the right mood when you hear it and you've never heard it before, you're just killing yourself laughing. I've now heard it 50,000 times and it wouldn't be funny anymore, but if you don't do it now while you're watching the stream, just do it later when you're listening and you can just listen to the guy tell the story without interruptions. Just look up Hoffman's telling of this, I don't know what it's called, the bricklayer story or something like this. You'll be able to find it out there somewhere. Somewhere we'll pop a link up to it. And whatever, I don't know, maybe it's funny to you guys or not funny to you guys in the 1950s and so, whatever, in our generation, it was a very, very, very funny story. And of course, it's the way he told it. This was the deal. He was a master raconteur. And for the rest of his life, actually, he died quite young. I don't know. He died in his 40s, I think, something like that. But for the rest of his life, he dined out on that story. He would never have had to eat dinner again or pay for dinner again because people would just do anything just to go and tell the story. And he met the bucket again on the way out. A bit closer here. I've been getting ready for the next video. It's going to be Beginnings Part 3, the next video in my own series, telling stories, but I got nothing on that guy. YouTube watch. Somebody's got it, the bricklayer story. Good, 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 good. Okay, I think that'll do that. So you can see where we are. We've got, now if I pop up the original picture again just for a minute, this block is done. We've got a block that is going to do the base area here down in the river. You can see the river has a bit of a golden tone, some light from the building is there. And this block goes up around past the people. And this is the area I'm not sure about. This area I think should be cool or blue, but we're going to give it a try, as Jed called. Jed called for it for this orange block to be underneath this area. And we've definitely taken it away from the sky, because we do not want the purpleness of the sky at the top. We want it blue, blue, blue. The whole print is orange and red. We want something in the background as an offset to this. In the test prints they've got upstairs, which I'm not going to show you this here, test prints, everything is too monotonous. It has the same color tone underneath everything, because of this, of course, because of the underlaid color blocks. So we rip these off. The building is going to be warm, the base is going to be warm. Up in the sky, I want outer space, cool, cold, totally separated from the building. Okay, let's move on. What's my next job here this morning? Let's get this out of here. I think in Jed's original Photoshop, the one I just put away, the prints, those trees on the left, that left ghostly tree really is ghostly and blue. But his Photoshop layering had this orange layer under it. So when we saw it, we're thinking, not sure. And yeah, we're not sure. So again, it's another example of how different stuff is. In Photoshop, it has one feeling and one mood and one whatever. But in real life, it quite frequently turns out to be quite different. So this is it. It's trial and error, trial and error. Yeah, I really, really wish. We talked to Jim about this when he was here last week. We really wish he could be here for this testing sequence, these testing times, so that he could see and get a feel for really how these things work. But that's not going to happen, so it can't be helped. Okay, we're doing it. We're coming along well. Okay, what's next? What's next is, yeah. We talked about this the other day, and I still haven't had a chance to do it. This may or may not be interesting. I'm sorry, I don't know. I have to clean some prints. Get the pigment out of the way here, that would be a disaster. We've had another batch of a dozen or so doughy Honda prints over the last 3 days, and I have to clean them. So this may not be too interesting for us, but it is what it is. Winds of inspiration, yes. Somebody, actually, maybe it was you, somebody sent this in the other day to us, because the word Ghibli is something to do with a certain Italian kind of wind or breeze. So yeah, that idea has been on the table too, perhaps from you, I don't know. I don't remember, did I show much of these or the other day? I did, I think I showed a few of these, the fact that the new young printer they've got working for them, Okada-san, young, he's 40 or something now, yeah, he has done a beautiful, beautiful, crisp, clean job. And Okada-san's prints do not need touching, but the ones we still have left, and you can see the difference here, there's Okada-san's prints, clean and clear, just as they should be, and this is the stuff from Itakura-san, the old guy who has now lost this job. So let me go through here. Hopefully this shouldn't take too long to get on to the next job, but anyway, it has to be done. These have got to be packed this morning. So how am I going to do this without destroying everything? I can put the package, put the prints. I need a base on which to work, because it's the focus for the microscope is at that height, so I can't work just on the table. Okay, those first 4 prints, these are passed and cleared. And let's start. He's okay as a printer, but my God, he just won't listen. He just won't listen. They're okay. Compared to the ones from the 1990s that Sexan did. Oh, look at this. I mean, come on, look at this. I think I maybe should send this one back, you know. I think I'm going to reject that one. That's too much. That's too much. I can't do that. No, that one's going back. These dots and stuff I can take out, but that last bit of blurriness, there's no way I can get rid of that. It's not fair. Not fair to the customers. Okay, let's zoom in. Let's do some surgery. Dr. Bo. Paging Dr. Bo. John, you've got this one, do you? Who printed it? Do you have one of the ones from Seki-san, or is it Itakura-san, or who's the printer in the copy you've got? If you're really, really, really super lucky, or you've been around for a while, you might have one that says Yokoi. And those are really rare. Yokoi Workshop made these in the immediate post-war years, and Yokoi was to die for as a printer. The Yokoi Workshop. That's where Seki-san cut his teeth. Okay, I can't get all of this off, but we can get the most egregious locations. It slides underneath this. Who's here? Oh, Ishikawa-san. Good morning, good morning. Hello.
今日板直してもらえる。
直しました。
はい、直しました。はい。
このどこにある？あ、この下。この2枚。
はい、ありがとう。はい。じゃあこれで今日は私が試してる。
そうですね。すぐさんも来る今日。OK。いろいろ昨日の夜彼女が帰る前にいろいろ話しましたんですね。彼女にもちょっとバトン。彼女が出した色をちょっと
濁ってたね。
一つは全然間違った。この板は本当にブラウン、薄い赤、ブラウン 予定ですが、彼女は紫、濃い紫出した。多分間違ったんですから。だから彼女のものを全部ちょっと違う道に変えました。
あ、そう。
メモ書いてあるから。
本当じゃあ今日それ聞いて。
そう。
はい、わかりました。
糸を見て、その絵の具は、の一つは絶対。
わかった。
多分洗う必要あるかな。
わかりました。はいはい、わかりました。でも、直していただいたのはオレンジの板？
そうです、そうです。オレンジは空に行かないです。それはブルー系、クールになります。
でも黄色は入ってるんですね。
そう、でもすごい薄いだから。
薄い、大丈夫。わかった。はい、はい、行ってきます。
Okay, thank you.
はい。
Did you hear that? Her voice? It didn't break any microphones. Is she okay? Who knows? She seems alone. Actually, she seems okay, although just a bit quiet early morning. Sometimes she is so, what's the word? Well, genki. She's genki in her voice. For those of you who don't know, the running joke at the background here is she sometimes overloads the microphone. When she's really happy, the mic is on the table, she will come closer, sit and then yell and shout and talk at me, and it just, it's rather loud in the microphone. But today, no problem. What a waste of time this is, you know. Whatever, don't complain, just get to it. Was I explaining something before she came? I don't remember. I've lost my train of thought. So I don't know. If it was important, let me know. This next one is Ito-san, not so bad. This is a different printer. Going down the side here, we're looking mostly okay. It's a little bit in the corner, just a couple of dots in the corner. This is one of the Noël Noët prints. This is the French guy, the French designer. And you can see the strokes in the print. These are not careful fluted brush strokes. These are pen scratches. This is the French designer working in, what was this, the date here? So, 1936. French designer who worked with and for Doi Hunger for the immediate pre-war years. I myself don't like them, but there are people who really do. This is one of those kind of prints, I think, that is quite polarized people. Because they're not Japanesey, not done with a brush, they look sort of more like etchings, and they fooled me for a number of years. I assumed they were done with metal blocks. So I was wrong, they are actually carved on wood. I myself don't have much of a taste for it, my own prejudices. I think at the time they were kind of interesting and not revolutionary, that's too much for a word to say, but they were interesting and an interesting approach. Masada Ichidori took the idea of using a Western designer and didn't try and shoehorn him too strongly into the Japanese tradition. It looks like a Japanese print, the flat colors, the gradations, blah, blah, blah. But the line work. Just, I don't think the guy was a very good artist, you know? I mean, this picture, like, so what? You know, there's a bit of rain and, you know. The only, to me, it's totally my viewpoint. The only interest in a thing like this to me comes from the beautiful paper and the way the color has this effect on the paper. You know, the technical aspect of a Japanese woodblock print is what, the only beauty in this is coming from those technical things. To me, there's just nothing here, really. Nobody wants it. Whatever. Everybody's beautiful. It's different. I'm not gonna curate this shop. The only prints in the shop are the one Dave likes, In one sense, that's true. It's stuff that I have chosen. I guess it's that I like. I don't know. It's not stuff that I like as art. It's stuff that I like as an object, or I think is okay. This one I'll go with. This is pretty much just a photograph, really. This is the same guy. This is Noel. Again, 1930 something, 35, 36, 36. And this is okay. This is a bit more moody. It even looks European. What's this? A gondola guy? A gondola man? I don't know. And this is printed by Seki. So this is leftover. Seki died in the late 1990s. So this is Deutschland stock left over from back then. And this one is clean. Seki-san was a pro. He was okay. This is clean. It's beautiful. With making my work today, it won't be so bad here. So it looks like Paris to show. So what's next? This is Itakura-san. Again, oh look at this, it's Itakura-san, but not so bad. Not so much mess here, a little bit in the corner, maybe we can move. Here we go, a few things up here. Let's get these. Nihonbashi is great no matter who draws it. You've heard about the plan now, eh? They're starting to cook a plan. A few years ago, the discussions first started. The idea that the freeway over top of the Nihonbashi should be either just destroyed or taken underground. It was built quickly for the 1960s to help modernize Tokyo. We get it, it made sense at the time, but it makes no sense now. Nihonbashi, the core, the ground zero of Tokyo. Ground zero, can you use that expression? Ground zero of Tokyo was covered by a freeway. It was crazy. It was crazy. The freeway itself now is getting old enough that it needs sort of renovation and construction. So if they're going to spend money anyway, get rid of it and put it in a tunnel. And the new thinking, and this may actually happen, it won't happen for 10 years, but it's going to happen. The freeway will come off over Nihonbashi. It goes in a tunnel underneath. But because of the way that the twisty and the spaghetti works on those freeways, once that section is gone, a section nearby also becomes redundant. And that's the section, the over freeway, that runs through the Ginza and Yurakucho area. Some of you may know it. It's a freeway on the top, and underneath there's 2 rows of shops. I forget the name of the thing. There's about a 700 meter or 800 meter row with a road on top and shops underneath. And the new idea for this is they've seen what happened in New York. So Tokyo's High Line. And this would run right through the middle of the Ginza Yurakucho area. Turn the freeway up top, get rid of the cars, and turn it into a High Line type approach. And already what they've done is that freeway, that particular stretch of freeway is toll free. Much of the freeways are toll roads here, but that particular section, your car doesn't charge tolls when it goes over top. Why? Because the shops underneath are paying enough rent that it pays for the cars to go by and the maintenance and everything else. So that section of freeway is owned, operated, and managed by the shop owners underneath, or the association or whatever that has all those things. And the new idea is to turn it into a High Line. And this is going to take a long, long, long time, even if it sort of makes its way through the jungle of approvals and everything else. So what's this? This is now 2020, maybe by 2026 or something, we may have a High Line here in Tokyo. And the print shop, Ginza Watanabe, they're down there, they're near there. And if I were them, I would be very, very happy about this, because that runs very close to where they are. And if it was done properly, every tourist that comes to Tokyo, everybody would walk along there. If it was done properly with enough, comforts and attractions and things to see and do, and food and whatever. Oh my God, that could be the number one place to go in Tokyo if they did it right. fuzzy. You better be careful. If I go too far now, you're going to do more damage than not. Just want to try and get the biggest black spots out of here. Yeah, good, good, good. If you're walking from Shimbashi Station to Watanabe's shop, you would come out of Shimbashi, go to Watanabe. It's west, between Watanabe's shop and the palace. In fact, I'm not sure how far south it comes. You can see it on a map. Just if you look at a map of Tokyo, it's right there. If you're walking from Shimbashi to Watanabe, go 1 block, 2 blocks to the left or so, a little bit north, and it rolls through. Now, this is the little bit of road that goes right over top of Yurakucho Station. Yurakucho Station is right underneath that. I think it runs from Yurakucho Station towards the south. I mean, there's no specific name for it now. It's just another little nameless chunk of the Shutoken, that expressway spaghetti. And I hadn't really known myself before I read the story about this, that different bits of this are owned by different people. From the driver's point of view, just you're running down the freeway. But the tolls and stuff go to different places and are collected by different people. It's all you pay at one toll gate. But it's all split up according to who owns that particular piece of road and stuff like that. I mean, building that thing must have been a nightmare, land acquisition. It's not so bad today. I have had lots worse. Today's not so bad. I'm going to get rid of that. That's got to go. Oh, here, I got this. That's got to go. This is one of the prints I get. I shouldn't talk about the prints in our shop in a bad way, but this is one that I really am not happy with. It's none of my business. Doi Hanga did it in the post-war years. And they took, to me, this is a pastiche. They took what could have been a normal, acceptable, normal Shinhaga print. Kind of bland, but there it is. It's pretty. The pagoda, the cherry trees. I mean, they don't get much more cliche than this. And then what he did was, he or one of his artists, this is supposed to be a koitsu. I don't know whose idea this was, but they cut and pasted like this, plonk. Some little doll type creature at the wrong scale. I have no idea what they've done. This is a post of the bridge here, and that would be about 1 meter high. And they've copy pasted something from some completely different environment. The shadows don't work, the light doesn't work, the scale doesn't work. I can't believe they actually did this. And it's popular, people like it, but whatever. Again, it's not my job to censor the stuff that is published like this. Talk about copy paste. I mean, literally, they must have literally taken a piece of Hanshita design and literally just laid it on top of this thing. I think this is an embarrassment to the world. Should I censor it and not carry this one because Dave doesn't like the design? I don't think so, I don't think so. But sometimes I feel a bit guilty that I'm helping get this out into the world. Hypocrite? I don't know. I really, really don't know, My own taste on the prints we publish, I could never be responsible for publishing something like this. This is a tough one. The dark part has got so much shade and shadow around it. I don't know. Whatever, I think I'm happy with that. As a publisher, I'm responsible for the stuff that we publish. As a used print dealer, I'm not responsible for the artistic content of the used prints we sell, or even the prints, I guess, from another publisher, I think. Whatever. No shit. I don't pay too much of it. No, it's my shop. I can do what I want, but that's too faint. I can't get that, I think. I don't know. It's too faint. It's the Sexton again. Whoa, there's still some stuff left over from Sexton. That's crazy. These people have had these things in drawers all these years. Harada and Seki again. This one's going to be clean. A little bit, again, it's too faint. Yeah, that's okay. Another one from Sexton. Yeah, we're good to go. Who's this? Oh, this is Hamano-san. There's another guy, he's gone again. Doi-san really, don't have that. They really got some stuff. You know, or I don't know what could be happening here. You know, I should be careful what I say next. This does not look too old. The paper's fairly white. And it's got marks. It's got Itakura-san marks on the corner. And that they've stamped it with Hamano. Who's been gone for a long time. I'm going to keep quiet about this. I'm going to keep quiet. Did somebody come in? I hear footsteps. I hear footsteps behind me. Yeah, the question about the vegetarian stuff, I mean, we come back to what we talked about before. It goes back a little bit. It goes back to that thing, you know, the conflict. Does the baker have to make cakes for the people that he doesn't like and stuff like that? I think that's a little bit different. I don't turn away customers and shouldn't and couldn't turn away customers because I don't like them or something like that. But the choice of what particular things I put into our business, I think that's my choice. I don't think there's any question of discrimination or whatever. If I said I don't choose to sell that kind of object, then I think I'm okay with that. I think so. Are we confusing? Am I confusing two different kinds of things here? I don't know. For example, there's the question of the shingle prints, in the auctions and at the dealer sales and stuff. Everywhere I look, there's massive amounts of shingle prints currently on the market. They were sort of repressed for so long here in Japan, and many people had them at home. Nobody threw them out. And now that it's become a bit more open and stuff, there's a vast, and I mean vast, capital V vast, amount of shunga now available here in the market. And it's been my choice to say, Dave, look, I just don't think you want a shunga corner in your shop. You know, we have that exception, we're doing the octopus, and that's all. So I'm not being prudish about this, but it's my choice about what kind of direction we would like to have our business going. And huge numbers of the people who come here are tourists, they're casual visitors. And I don't really want them to bump into a corner of wildly erotic prints. So I've chosen not to buy those and not to put them in the shop. Even though it could, I think, be quite lucrative because, my God, there's so much available, the prices are reasonable. And there might be very, very high demand. So maybe we should have a shunga corner under the counter, as it were. But it's just my choice and my taste not to go that way. Hypocritical, I guess. I'm carving the octopus, you know what is it? I'm not sure, I have no experience how the shops downtown are handling this. If you go in Yamada Shoten or Harashobo, I would imagine that they do have plenty of the shunga. I suppose it's on request, you know. You ask at the counter, excuse me, do you have any of those other prints? I suppose, I don't know. Human beings are funny creatures. I suppose part of my own feeling on that one is that I don't really enjoy most of the Japanese shunga, the approach that was taken historically, you know, the massive man approach. It just doesn't well. What's next? Hamano-san again. It says Hamano-san again. I don't know. Where are we? Mokushunga.com. So, yeah, go ahead, register it. Yeah, shunga, the word shunga, it's a euphemism. Shun is the word for spring, ga is picture. So the euphemism, and this is not modern, back in the old days. I don't know when it started, Meiji or something, I don't know, no idea when. The researchers could tell us. Shunga is a generic name for, literally translated, spring pictures, which was the erotic work. And it came in really different styles. Some of it was wonderfully produced, wonderfully erotic for quiet personal consumption, and some of it was just grotesquely, pornographic. There was a whole range of all kinds of stuff. The same, I guess, as even in contemporary society with a similar genre now. There are things that are gorgeously beautiful, and there are things that were pretty grotesque, just the same as now. You see, I'm looking at shunga and not liking it, but again, it's the genre. It's a ton of crap, but there's some staggeringly interesting, beautiful things in there. If you, just as a reference to some of the things that I think are more classically beautiful in that genre, if you Google around and try and find, there's a book. It was designed by Utamaro, published by, I forgot the guy's name, Staya, Jusaburo Staya. The Japanese name was Utamakura. It was a play on words. Utamaro. Uta means singing, but the guy's name was Utamaro. And the book was called Utamakura, the Song of the Pillow, Poem of the Pillow. Makura is pillow. So if you look up that, it's an album of 12 images, and if I had the time and resources, we'd publish that as a reprint. And that's gorgeous. It's porn, but it's just staggeringly beautiful. But yeah, if you just generically look up the genre, most of it is grotesque. How's our time? I was going to get on to the next job, but I don't think I was going to happen here today. I've got another 6 or 7 of these to go. It looks like this might be finishing our time here today. I have no specific show and tell. We had a really fun one yesterday. Not yesterday, Thursday. Garbage truck. But I have no specific show and tell this morning, I'm sorry. I love these colors, you know. It's the thing, no matter how schlocky you think this is or how much of a tourist trap these prints were made for, they still are such beautiful objects. And this comes back to what Jen and I are trying to do at the moment with our series, the Japan Journey series this year and the new series that's next coming year. We want to try and, we can't make prints this large and this dramatic, it's just too expensive and we're not good enough at it yet. But we want to move towards a situation where we can make prints that have this level of beauty in the pigments and in the carving and in the tone, and yet which are not so totally dramatically tourist stuff. And we're sort of stumbling towards it bit by bit. Last year's series, and then this year's series. Oh, hi, good morning. Must have been up. I'm live, eh? So it's our goal to see if we can move towards a genre of prints that have this level of beauty without being as hokey as some of these old ones were. And not all of Shinhan was like that, of course. Some of them were just beautiful, beautiful objects. And it's our goal to try and walk that line between those two things. Well, what's next? Well, this is Sexton again. We've really got a bunch of stuff left over from Sexton. This will be clean. Zoom out a bit, you see what's going on here. Yeah, somebody's linked to the Utamakura, eh? So it still is, it's shunga, it's pornography, you don't like it, you don't like it. But what that is, you know, at least it's the, what's the word? It's the justification for it. The 12 pictures in that album are supposed to be pornography with, I don't know, psychological, whatever, you know, there's supposed to be a story and a plot and a meaning to them all, not just erotic pictures. And for me, they're just so beautifully drawn and beautifully executed. Yeah, it's not that they cut off the borders, John. The deal about these prints, I know the size. We've talked about this a little bit before. I know it's a question of the paper size. The large sheet of paper that we get, it would be generically called a masaban. And one sheet of paper could be cut in two pieces. I'm putting this upside down, so that's the way it's cut. You can see the mimi, the rough selvage. That's your original sheet of paper, sliced in half to make two of the oban size prints. It turns out there's enough room on a typical sheet of paper to leave that many margins. When you want to slice it in three, I don't have three of these always, I've only got two, but it turns out that the same sheets of paper, when you slice them in 1, 2, 3, is enough for three of these mitsugiri, three cut mitsugiri prints, but not enough to have a wide margin on both sides. Most of these things come from the original paper size. Actually, there's something else on this one too. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it. Maybe you can. Do you see it? Buried inside the paper? This comes from way back. They don't do this anymore. And we can't do this either. We've asked to make this happen. It's not going to happen. This is called a tsukashi. And it's a watermark, and it's in the paper, and it was done by the paper maker. So this batch of paper would have been ordered by the Doi Hanga company. And at that time, they would have had their own, the paper maker who has a tray for this, he's got a screen prepared by the Doi Hanga people, which has this mark on the screen, so that when they flood the screen with the mulberry fiber, it misses a bit of fiber. It's a bit light in this area. You can see it. The paper's actually sort of semi-transparent in that part. And it's the character for Doi, in a circle. So that was Doi-san's watermark. Now, you couldn't have it on every print because this was only in one corner of the master screen. So if you're going to have a Mitsugiri band, some of the prints would have it. Oh, the other one here. The other one has it as well. But the prints on the same sheet of paper that were cut the other way around, with the one in the middle, wouldn't have had this watermark. So it's not so much to say that if you don't see the watermark, it's not a Doi print, but it is there. Mitsugiri, G-I-R-I, giri, cut, Mitsugiri, cut in three. And we've got a bunch here. We've done our own. It's in the Doi Hanga catalog. We've made a bunch there, Mitsugiri. Here's another clean one. What? Something's wrong here. It says Itakura, and yet there's no marks on the outside. Oh, there's one. I knew it was too good to be true. There's Kawai-san coming in the door. It looks like we're getting close to being up and running. Today it's going to be Kawai-san and me doing the parties together, the two of us. And helping in the shop will be Sadako-san, who's coming, Rose is coming today, the girl from Australia, and Mori-san. The flag goes out. Just a few more left here. What do we got? 1, 2, 3 sheets left. How much work do we have to do? Let's have a look. Timing is just right today. Morning, good morning.
How are you cooking?
That's on. I've got 2 cameras here. I'm watching everybody as they do this. What do you think? Do we need the heater on this morning? Not sure.
I walked.
Well, what we should maybe do is after I finish this, we can open the doors for a few minutes and air the place out.
So I will open the door.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, the last 2 sheets here. This is a bit of an unusual print too. Tomorahara. Toyamagahara. I forget the exact name. Toyamagahara. I'm not sure if I would have published this. I actually kind of like it, but I don't like it. It's a bit of a mix. I'm not sure. To me, it seems kind of bare and sparse. And if I had been drawing this or sketching it, or if somebody had handed in the sketch, I would have said, I think maybe there's nothing there. But actually, it is. It's got a popular print. Maybe it's that thing. The rubbing the pigment onto the paper has its own beauty so much that even if the design is a little bit not so interesting, the thing still has an objective beauty. I'm not sure myself about this. Huh? The market likes this one, so it's okay. So I understand that. It's not just my viewpoint about this. But I myself, I'm not sure. I probably would have missed it. I probably wouldn't have published it. The trees just sort of planted there without being planted. I'm not sure. Again, the paper's pretty thin. This is on a thin sheet. I can't do much to this one. When the paper's thick and it's got good body, we have more room to play with on this shading. But if the paper's too thin, I have to really be careful because I could actually shave a piece off this paper if I'm not careful. There's a limit what I can do here. Okay, one more. The last sheet. It's the same print here, the same design. Yeah, it's okay. I'll be finished in one second. I'm closing up on the last print now, so I'll shut this down in a minute or two. Yeah, be careful with wires, sorry. Hello, Kai-san. Hello.
河合さんね、
はい。
申し訳ないんだけど、私、正直送ったら、
はい。
バッテリーがついてなかったの。
送りがついてる。元がついてる。
元ついてないよ。それでさ、そんなことってあるって昨日山田君とさ、
はい。
なんだろうねって。で、家帰ってバッテリーを送りました。で、バッテリーチャージャーも一緒に買いました。なんてバカなこと。
別売りだったんですか。
別売りだったんですよ。それだから明日か明後日まで届くんですみません。遅れてる。
もう本当にもうすみません。
ねえ。そんなってあるなんてさ。ダメよ。私にプレゼント。
プレゼントですか。
Okay, let's finish this one corner off and then we're out of here for today. What's today? Today's Saturday. So I'll be back here Monday morning. Hopefully I'll be back carving again. Aoyama-san has prepared some wood for me. And we'll be back up and running on the Kiso cats, Neko cat side here. Hopefully. That'll be Monday morning, 2 days from now. No, paper's too thin, because it's really thick. Really, really thick.
ここのトイレってファンないんだね。ある。あ、ファンついてんだ。
Yeah, no, too thin. I can't anymore. All right, we do what we can do. Right, good. Okay, thank you guys. All right, let's get this wrapped up. It's Saturday morning here. I'll be back again Monday morning with hopefully some real carving. We've got a replacement block for the cat project here. This is going to be thrown away. I'll be starting again in that same corner. We'll be up and running with that one at last. I've missed a whole bunch of the conversation here. Sorry. I'll try and catch up to it. Thank you guys. Okay. See you Monday morning. Thanks for watching. Not such an interesting stream today. Whatever. Can you hear me now? See you later. Bye-bye. Let's put the view up for a minute here, the street view. Nice, beautiful day in Osaka today.
いやもう会えばわかります。僕が言われば。
そうね。一応一通りね。今日も完璧な話でやってる。
Okay, see you later. Bye. See you next week.